What's going on, guys? King Trats here, back in the video on the channel. Today we made, yes, again, but a different recipe. I made butter chicken and even put it inside of a burrito. Let me take you through the process real quick. First thing we did, we started off with our boneless, skinless chicken thighs, which we trimmed off most of the fat as well as cleaned up, diced those into bite-sized cubes, and then I got that garlic and ginger paste again. Nice, healthy serving. You know how I get down. There's never enough garlic for me. Make sure we got that nice and evenly coated, and we marinated that off about an hour or so, I would say. And then we've got these Indian spices. Yes, I found a bag of like Indian spices. That's where this whole thing kind of came from. I found it in Walmart, believe it or not. So I had a little bit of oil, about a tablespoon, a little less than that. You know, I don't like to cook with oil, but I had to use it. In this case, we just cooked those up real quick, let those get nice and hot. So we had the oil in there, and then we added the chicken, browned that off for about 2 minutes. And then we have our butter chicken sauce, which we put in, and then we covered and simmered for 20 minutes until that was all nice, and served that over a bed of the basmati rice. And I didn't have any naan, couldn't find any naan, but I did have a tortilla. So I was gonna use it like naan, but then I was like, yo, why don't we just put this in a burrito? So that's what I did. We've got our basmati on the bottom, and then I actually had some asparagus. I don't know. I wanted some kind of green in there because I just feel like rice and chicken would just be like, just go with me. So I put that on top. Then we laid a little bit of that butter chicken sauce, a little bit of the chicken, a little more of the butter chicken sauce, and I added a little bit of yogurt. You know, normally they have like yogurt in the food. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna use it like sour cream. So we put that in there, we rolled it up, and we put it on the side. And I'm gonna start with the butter chicken burrito because I've never had a butter chicken burrito, but I'm guessing it'll be a W, right? Right? You can't even see what's in here. It don't matter. Look, it's a burrito, bro. Hold on. Just let me, don't break the damn thing. Number 5. They should do this. Somebody does. I'm gonna look it up. We're gonna see if somebody does this, huh? Asparagus are probably from the cut. Look. Note to self next time, cut the asparagus and not take the whole damn thing out at once. But I'll be damned. Don't want to get in here? Well, we spilled half of it. Don't want to get in here? Might want to. I bet I'm a mess right now. The asparagus was a W idea. Not cutting the asparagus, a little stupid. Why didn't I cut the asparagus? But other than that, I bet somebody makes this. I'm gonna see if one will check DoorDash. I bet somebody's gonna do this. Get out of here, bro. Come make a video. You can see there's the sour cream, the yogurt aspect, and it just soaks in that. Wow. I think I might be onto something. And I guess this kind of does give you context of how big my plates actually are. Because this is a big burrito, which I ate in like a minute and a half. Extrapolate. The yogurt was such a W idea. I eat burritos really fast if you can't tell. Sorry for the mess. But there's the rest of it. What was that? Not bad, right? One day I'm gonna do it like 100% from scratch. This is like 70% from scratch. But it's a step up from me just using a can, right? Getting there. Getting there. Getting there. One piece of chicken. You want some? I'm sorry. I felt the beat in my head. I don't know. A little, like a Bollywood rhythm or something. You ever watched some Bollywood films? I've watched a few, I'm not gonna lie. They're kind of dope. I used to live at home. There was a point in time where my aunt also lived with me, with my family. She was big on that, like movies. I used to hear them coming from the room all the time, right? We all these beats. I'm like, who that? Kind of knock. Not gonna lie. So one time, we all shared a Netflix account. So I went to the recently watched and I just popped one on. The name of the movie was Doom 2. I'd never seen Doom 1, but I figured I'd chop it on. Right? It was like a spy movie. And there was this like intricate ass dance number in the beginning. When I tell you that song was stuck in my head for like 3 months, I could still sing it. I'm not singing it, but I could still sing it to this day. I'm not joking. They was getting it too, breaking it down with the dances and shit. W. And the women were kind of fly. It's always nice to watch movies when you got like fly women in it, you know what I'm saying? So, you never watched one, like check them out, for real. Kind of dope. I feel like there's so many like genres of film from all over the world that a lot of people watch here, but they're not like necessarily like super mainstream. But now with like all of the streaming services, we have access to them. Netflix has a ton of Bollywood movies. And a lot of like Korean, I mean Squid Game, look how big Squid Game got. I don't think anybody saw that one coming. To the point that it was all everybody was talking about when it came out. I feel like that's another genre that's like really underrated, is like Korean movies. There's a lot of good ones, like a lot. I think I've spoken about that before, at least like with the horror ones. That one movie, which was, the hell was the name of it? I mean, Train to Busan, everybody kind of knows about now. But I'm big on like horror movies. If you don't know, I've talked about it a couple of times. And in that genre, like zombie, Train to Busan might be the best one of all of them. Before that, I used to really like the George A. Romero, like the Of the Dead series. And then they had like a big, what would you call it? Like a renaissance. It came back. What's it called? Renaissance? Resurgence. Oh my God. So it's like 2:30 in the morning, right? Because I think it was Dawn of the Dead that dropped in like the 2000s, like 2000, like maybe 06. I think I was like a freshman in college, so somewhere around there. And I used to be super afraid of horror movies until I was probably like 13, 14. And the last genre of movie that kind of scared me, for real, slasher films never really scared me, to be honest. Like, you know, the Michael Myers and, you know, Chucky and obviously Jason and Freddy. Nah. I always felt like watching those movies that the protagonists, the heroes, were like super dumb. And if I was in the movies, like, Michael Myers is walking, bro. Like, why are you, stop running upstairs and hiding and stuff. Run. But the zombie movies used to scare me. Because if you watch them, like, hardly anybody ever survives, bro. Fast forward about 30 seconds if you've never watched Dawn of the Dead. Give me about 30 seconds, because I'm about to spoil it. For the people who haven't watched it, you live under a rock, or maybe you're interested in watching it. Fast forward about 30 seconds. I'm gonna talk about it now. And go. So, it's a normal type of horror, type of zombie movie where, you know, there's a infection and people rise from the dead and start biting people and then they turn into zombies and so on. But I always feel like in those movies, the protagonists are actually smart, but there's just too many of them and you end up having to hide. And in that particular movie, they all ended up in like a mall, right? And within like 24 hours, the mall was crawling from the outside. They couldn't get in because they boarded all the doors with zombies, bro. There's like thousands of them, bro. Like, you can't go nowhere. And they always start fighting with each other. Right? Now you don't gotta worry with zombies, worry with people. Everyone's walking dead the same way. So we work with people. And it's always the people that like are the humans, not the zombies, that are like the enemy. Same thing with that movie. But long story short, they end up finally, after a couple of them die, you know, building this like big bus. It was a bus, which they outfitted with like armor and stuff to try to like drive through these zombies, right? It's always like this in Resident Evil, all of them. So there's really this one last like they make a break for it, and they were supposed to get to this dude's boat. And a whole bunch of scenes occurred, and basically half of them make it to the boat. Finally, like, the main character kind of sacrifices himself. It's always like that. And then they get on the boat and they sail off, and you think, oh, they made it. Then they get to an island, and the island is crawling with zombies, and they have a camera, and they drop the camera, and the credits roll, and I'm like, everybody didn't make it again, bro. And that always creeped me out. Because I consider myself to be a relatively intelligent person when it comes to, like, fleeing Michael Myers. But fleeing hundreds and thousands of zombies all over the world, like, we got a problem, bro. And if that ever happened in real life, I've watched enough of those movies to kind of have an idea of what to do, but it's gonna get real. I'm not saying it's gonna, I hope God it never happens, but it would be real. Man. You know what I'm saying? So, it's always one of those things that it's never happened, but it seems realistic kind of thing. Like it could happen. One guy in a hockey mask, like, I'll beat the shit out of him. Look, anybody who's familiar with Friday the 13th, Jason, in the first couple, was a normal person. It wasn't until... Man, which one is that? Is it 4? I want to say it's 4, but it's Jason Lives. Where they dig him up, and then he gets hit by the lightning, and he's like Super Jason, where he runs and shit. That's when it's like, you know, he's in Manhattan. But in the first couple, actually the first one wasn't even him, it was his mom. And Mrs. Voorhees was the killer. Jason wasn't even in the movie. But Friday the 13th Part 2, he ended up getting killed by like a little kid. Corey Feldman. So, I feel like I gotta hold my own a little bit. Like Chucky, I'll punch Chucky halfway across. Like, I don't care. You ever watch the Chucky movies, bro? Listen, bro. First of all, the idea of someone putting their soul in a doll. I know people believe in voodoo and stuff. Look, I had my buddy doll when I was a kid. Y'all know about that, but it looked like Chucky, but he was black. I was black. Look. If I seen a doll running at me, I will drop kick that damn. I don't give. Look. Oh, but I will drop kick. Okay. The doll. The only ones that Chucky really ever like murks that like you know are like bigger people. He be getting the kids and they're like, you know, unsuspecting. My head on a swivel. I'm from the trenches, bro. Like, you're gonna run up on me with their damn doll. You know, they see the doll and like, oh, doll, stupid doll, and they put it in their car. Like, I don't want them to get. Anyway, so that stuff doesn't really scare me. The zombie stuff in real life, it was spread pretty fast, bro. Look at how fast Omarion spread. Imagine that. And again, the scary part, to me, is it's not just about the zombies, it's about the people. You know, so those kind of creep me out. But as I got older, I started really liking those movies too. So I started watching all of it. That's kind of how I ended up, you know, I think it was like AMC. I had like the subscription. And Train to Busan was on there. This is like right around when The Walking Dead was popping. Somewhere around then. So, almost 10 years ago, I would think. That was when I first watched it. And you can watch the dubbed versions of these movies where they do voiceovers. Like, where they, like, I don't like that at all. Like, I feel like too much, like, even Squid Game, I watched in Korean. A lot of people watch the English version. I did not. I watched the Korean version with subtitles. I feel like it's always better when you watch foreign movies in their language, you know. I can watch Spanish movies without subtitles, so I can understand Spanish, but I watch it sometimes with English subtitles, and the translation sometimes is, like, not right. And it loses stuff in translation. The one I'm talking about, they made a dub. I talked about this a while ago. It was called The Hole. I don't think that's what it was called in English. I think that was the Spanish version. But it was a movie where there was, like, this platform. I think it was called the platform. Whatever the hell it was called. And it was like a prison, but it was a platform. And the platform would go down from floor to floor with a bunch of food on it. And the people on the top would, like, eat a whole bunch of food. And the people on the bottom would, like, eat scraps and sometimes each other and all kinds of crazy stuff. But it was like a super... And I watched it in Spanish, but I put the English subtitles on. I do that sometimes. I want to see, like, the translation. And it be... Like, even Narcos, the translation sometimes is not, like... It's iffy. You know? So... Even though the translation won't be right when you watch in other languages, like, I feel like the actors, like, the voices, it just sounds better. You know? A lot of people were like, they watched Squid Game and they're like, you know, I watched it in English and I was like, I don't know how you could do that. I just think it looks stupid when they overdub people's voices and then the match, it doesn't match. Like, you know, you can see the person's, like, mouth moving differently. Like, want to go to the park? Like, it's just, I don't like that. So, I also feel like it does a disservice to the actors to, like, put the work in to make them, you know, like, do I understand Korean? No. I picked up a couple of things as I watched it, but I thought the actors did a phenomenal job, and I don't like, I don't know. I'm very weird with that kind of stuff. I also don't like that what we do here a lot is we remake movies. Like, supposedly they're making Train to Busan again in English. Like, they're just, like, redoing, like, I hate, like, The Ring they did that with, The Grudge, like, so many movies, and it's just, like, stupid. I don't like that. Like, watch the original version. Yes, I sound like a grumpy old man. Most old people like me. It's crazy to say, but millennials, like, we're old now. So, most old people like me, we don't like when you touch the stuff from the 90s. And so on. Even though a lot of 90s movies were remakes, you know. One of my favorite movies as a little kid was Little Rascals. It came out in, like, the mid-90s. I was super young. I didn't know it was a damn show. You know what I'm saying? So, it's always that from generation to generation. You know, I saw that they remade, like, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, but they made it, like, modern and not funny. Like it was more like a serious tone, I think. I'm gonna watch it, though. You know, Will Smith's the executive producer, so I'm really doubting that they would, like, butcher it. I want to see it, like, the updated, I think it's on, like, Peacock. I have Peacock. But it's called Bel-Air. When I first saw it on the TV, I was with my people. It was the commercial yesterday, and I was like, "Oh, nah!" I was like, you know, the old grumpy old man. But then, of course, like anything, I didn't want to pass judgment, so I looked into it, like the story and the kind of how. And I saw it's more of a reimagining instead of like a straight rehash. Like, you can't replace Will Smith, so they did like something completely different, which is okay. And when I saw that Will Smith signed on as like the executive producer, I was like, all right, like Will Smith wouldn't butcher his own shit, so like. But you'll see when y'all, the Gen Zers now, because y'all starting to be us. In 10 years, y'all gonna be us. So, you'll understand. Y'all gonna feel just like me. Y'all gonna be old. Okay? You know, pushing 30. I know 30's not old, okay? I just feel like it's old to me. Because it's the first time when you start reaching like 30 and I'm guessing anybody who's watching who's 40 or 50, like, you understand where I'm coming from when I say that. I'm not saying that I'm old. I don't think 40 or 50 is old these days. Like, I don't, because with all the advancements we have made in the world with, like, you know, the medicine and fitness and stuff, like, these days, like, people are, like, living into their latter years. Not only that, but they're also not aging as fast, you know? Like, I feel like people in their 30s now look like, not all, but a lot. Especially people with my complexion. You know, the whole black don't crack thing. But I have friends that are, you know, in their late 30s. My sister is I'm not going to say her age, bro. She'd punch me in the fucking face. But she doesn't look any bit her age to me. I have people in my family, no joke, like 90, that look like super young, you know. I think it always depends on if you take care of yourself, and also the amount of stress, not just physical stress, but mental stress you put on your body. Like, so calm the fuck down. Excuse my language. I curse anyway, no matter what. Don't let that stress, like, age, because it ages you. I'm for real. Like, there's people my age, younger than me, that have gray hair and shit, and I don't really necessarily think it. I think it's the stress. I do. I'm a relatively, like, I'm not gonna say I don't stress, but you know, I'm very, like, kind of zen about shit these days. So y'all saw me miss my mouth. The other thing that's funny about turning 30, like, when you hit this age bracket, a lot of people that are in their teens and their 20s, like, especially their, like, late teens, you can't wait to be in your, like, you know, as a kid, you can't wait to get older, right? You want to grow up. And then you hit 30, and a lot of some people I know want to grow down. Like, it's a very weird phenomenon, bro. Like, a lot of people, when they turn 30 and 40, all of a sudden they start, like, wanting to be younger, like, to be 20 again. And when you're 15, you want to be 21. And then when you're 21, you want to stay 21. And I feel like, you know, some people are, like, afraid of getting older and shit. So they start trying to date younger men or women. They start trying to do young people shit. You know, listen. Number one, age is a mindset. I think you can be mature and still be young at heart without, like, acting like a teenager. That's a little much. But honestly, like, I prefer life now than more when I was, like, you know, 20. Because I was, like, you know, first of all, I was broke. And when I say broke, I mean, like, college kid broke. Like, I didn't have money to eat, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, you don't have a place to stay, technically speaking. Like, you're living weird. And it's not a bad thing. Everybody does at that age. You know, I do feel like now with, you know, TikTok and the content creation and that kind of, a lot of people that are in their early 20s, they think they're supposed to be like millionaires and shit. And that's not how the world works, you know. Some people don't get on until they're 40. Some people don't get on until they're 50, you know. I don't want to be Gary Vee, you know, he's real popular about saying, like, you have so much time. You do. When I was 20, I had no idea what I wanted to do in my life. None. Most people, if you are a college student and you are watching this and you are stressing out because you don't know what you're going to do with yourself, we all did. It is not like 1960 where people graduated school and then went to work. Okay? People take gap years now. People don't pick careers. People change careers. People quit when they're 33. Like, they just do things. And don't stress about it too much. I'm not saying just, like, don't give a shit. Like, no. Don't give me, oh, he hates that. No. But just do stuff. You'll find your way. But don't just sit down and do nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, try things, do stuff. If you're not sure and you're like, I think I want to do this, go for it. Because before you know it, you will be 50. And by that time, I hope you have a career path of some sort. Even though it's not too late at that point, you can still change careers. I know people personally, like, that change jobs and careers at, like, 50, bro. I'm not joking. Like, I've had conversations. I have clients. I'm not, like, it's never too late. But I feel like these days people stress so much about, like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what I'm going to do. Like, worry about today. Like, stop worrying about 10 years from now, because as like, morbid as this sounds, tomorrow is not guaranteed. And so many people worry about like shit that it's not on your plate right now. Like, handle your stuff now. You know, if you want something and you have a goal, work towards that goal. Like, it doesn't happen tomorrow. Like, have a micro. I sound like Gary Vee, bro. He be right a lot, but this is my own shit. I'm not taking, I don't know if you said it, but have a micro mindset. But always, like, the big picture will come. But you got to be patient, but you have to grind. Like, be in the now. You know, people are always like, yo, I want to. It's the same thing as like, okay, I'll equate to fitness because that's a part of my profession. A lot of people want to lose 50 pounds. Start with one. Stop, like, people want to go from, you know, 300 pounds to 250 pounds in a month. Like, start with a damn pound. Like, start with this. When I lost 70 pounds, bro, like, I lost a pound to a pound and a half a week for like a year. And I never once was like, oh my God, like, I need to, I just did what I had to do every day. And before I knew it, like, I took pictures like every, you know, week or 2 weeks. And before I knew it, I was like, yo, like, what the hell? You know what I mean? Like, when you worry about the things you got to take care of and not like don't do that. That's something I say all the time, but I'm just keeping it a buck. Like, I'm not the most wise person in the world, and I still take wisdom from people who have done things. I don't consider myself an all-knowing individual. Like, I don't know shit on a grand scale of things, but I do have experience now, which is fucking crazy. Like, I've had a lot of experience, you know. I haven't been in the world a long time, but I've been through some stuff, bro. Like, for real. Like, you know, I don't get into all of that stuff, but I've been through a lot. And the one thing that I'll say is, like, I never once just, like, put my tail between my legs and was like, all right, well, screw it. Like, I've dug myself out of shit a lot. You know, whether it was something like, I have said, okay, like, what do you got to do? Handle it. You get what I'm saying? Like, just do that. And then you can watch the halftime show and realize, and you're like, oh, they're playing stuff for young people. They're not, because they're playing it for old people. Because I realized that yesterday, bro. I was watching, right? If y'all see the halftime show, it was Dr. Dre, Eminem, 50, Kendrick, right? Snoop, Mary J. Blige, you know, some people from my childhood and some people from my, like, teenage years. And I was like, man, it's about time he played something for young people. And then I realized that, like, In the Club dropped 20 years ago, bro. I was like, oh my God, I'm old. In the Club is 20 years. Like, when I seen, because a lot of people, because I have some, like, you know, younger friends and some older friends, and they were like, why is 50 Cent upside down? And I was like, that's from the video. Like, I knew right away, you know what I'm saying? Like, I remember, I was old enough to fucking, I watched that, and when 50 dropped, it was like a phenomenon, bro. And that was like his announcement. Around here in the East Coast, like, 50 was huge already. Like, he had mixtapes, and like a lot of people knew about him from his mixtapes and whatever, but when In the Club dropped, it was his announcement to the rest of the world, like, it's over, bro. Like, I'm here. And he took the rap game over for like a 5-year stretch where he was just everywhere. And he dropped down in the video, he had no shirt on, he was like, go, right? And he did it yesterday. And, you know, some people was like, you know, 50 got bit. 50's 46 years old, bro. I hope I look like that at 46. Y'all are tripping. First of all, he's not remotely overweight. Second of all, no, he's not as lean as he was when he was 26 or whatever age he was, but he got bigger shit to worry about now, bro. 50 ain't in the gym for 3 hours a day no more. Like, that man got 4 successful TV shows, some and all kinds of other ventures. Like, you think but he's still in shape. There's a video of him climbing up there. He did like a pull-up to get up there. Y'all can't do that shit. Stop lying. So, you know, but when I watched it and M was up there, you see M, I got the beard now, no more blonde hair. And I'm like, man, you know, the people from my childhood, like Dre and Snoop and Mary J, like, you know, they still look great. And they're like, you know, like 50 and 50, almost 50. But when I realized that that's not necessarily for young people, it's more for us millennials, and we're now 2022, bro. If you are 2022 and you turn 40 this year, you are a millennial. Millennials are turning 40 this year. Like, we are now. I'm on the other end of the millennial spectrum, but it's cool. I know that I'm gonna be there. So it's not that long, because I remember being 22, 21, you know, what it feels like forever ago, but it really wasn't. But time flies, bro. It flies. And it hit me yesterday. I was like, oh my God. Like, you know what I'm saying? They're like, yeah, throwback. I'm like, oh my God. When I hear like throwback in 2000s, bro, I'm like, oh my God. Because like, I used to hear, when I thought of throwback stuff, I thought of like the 80s and the 90s. You know what I mean? Like, as a kid, when you heard like old school rap, bro, that was from the 1980s. You know, like early 90s. I wasn't around. I don't know. Like, but, you know, when you talk about like NWA, like, I don't remember NWA. I know who they are, but I don't remember it. I'm not old enough. But, you know, when you start talking about Biggie and Pac, like, that's me as a little baby. Like, you know, when Snoop and Dre, you know. It's all good, man. I'm serious. I feel so much better now than I did when I was in, like, for real. Across the board, I'm in better shape now than I was when I was 20. That's crazy. I'm in better shape now than I was when I was a college football player. And that's not a joke. Not a joke. Not just, like, my body. I mean, like, I'm probably not as fast, but I'm definitely stronger. Like, I'm definitely, like, I have just as much, if not more stamina. I couldn't run. I did a 1.5 mile jog in college because I had to do it for exercise science, bro. I almost keeled over, bro. I run 1.5 miles like 4 times a week now. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. But anyway, I finished my food a long time ago. I've just been talking. I'm old, man. It's funny, bro. Anyway, anybody who's older than me, y'all ain't old either. Like, I say old just because I feel like now I realize that I'm like, you know, if I get a knee injury, I'm out for like 2 months now. That's the time it is. Anyway, but we'll be back, bro, tomorrow. What we doing? We cooking. More content. I love y'all. The hand signs. They made it to YouTube.